What if I told you that the most powerful people in history weren't the loudest or most aggressive, but the gentlest? Today, we're uncovering the superpower that Jesus called meekness. You know that person at work who always needs to be the loudest in the room? Or that friend who's constantly posting about their achievements on Instagram? Our world tells us that's what power looks like. But 2,000 years ago, Jesus dropped something revolutionary. In Matthew 5:5, he said, "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." Most people hear meek, they think it means being weak, but that's not what Jesus meant at all. The word meek in the original language meant power under perfect control. Break this down for you. You know those martial arts masters? They could probably take down anyone in the room, but you'll never see them starting fights. Instead, they use their skills to teach and protect others. That's meekness. Or think about a powerful river. Left on its own, it could destroy everything in its path. But when it's properly channeled, that same power lights up entire cities. It's just like a surgeon in the operating room. They're not using brute force. They're using gentle, precise movements to save lives. See what I mean? Meekness isn't about being weak. It's about having strength and choosing how to use it. Here's something amazing about meekness. It's actually about having great power and choosing to use it the right way. Think about it. When you have power, you've got two choices. You could use it to push people down, to make yourself look big, or you could use it like Jesus did. See, Jesus had all the power in the universe, but he used it to lift people up, to serve others, to bring healing. He showed us that true meekness is about being gentle even when you're strong, being humble when you could brag, and being considerate when you could just focus on yourself. And you know what? We still see examples of this today. Let me tell you about something cool that happened behind the scenes of The Matrix and Keanu Reeves. Keanu found out that the people working on costumes and special effects weren't getting paid much. Now, he was already making millions. But instead of thinking that's not my problem, he did something incredible. He gave up a huge chunk of his own salary so these hardworking people could earn more. And get this, he never bragged about it. No Instagram posts, no tweets, no press release. Most people didn't even know about it until years later. This is the same guy who, despite being one of Hollywood's biggest stars, still rides the subway like a regular person. There's this famous photo of him giving up his seat to someone who needed it more. Not because cameras were rolling, but just because it was the right thing to do. See how that works? Just like Jesus taught us, Keanu has all this power that comes with fame and fortune. He could demand special treatment. He could show off. He could make everything about himself. Instead, he chooses to use his influence to lift others up. That's what real meekness looks like. Having strength and choosing to use it with gentleness and compassion. Let's talk about how being meek actually makes your life better. Think about your relationships for a minute. When you're meek, you become someone people genuinely want to be around. We all know that person who's always interrupting or trying to make every conversation about themselves. But meekness flips this around. You start listening more. When your friend is struggling, you don't rush to give advice. You just sit with them, you hear them out. People feel safe with you. They trust you. It changes how you handle tough situations too. Life's full of disagreements, right? But meekness gives you a different way to deal with them. That angry text you want to send? That frustrated response to your boss' criticism? Meekness helps you pause, breathe, and respond with understanding. You start seeing conflicts as chances to understand each other better. The best part? You grow in ways you never expected. When you're not focused on defending yourself all the time, you're free to learn from anyone. That younger coworker might have a brilliant idea. That person who sees things differently. They might help you see something you missed. This is exactly what Jesus was showing us. Being meek means being strong enough to choose understanding over winning, to choose wisdom over being right. Okay, but what does meekness actually look like in your daily life? Let me make this super practical. Take social media. We all know how tempting it is to join in when everyone's arguing in the comments. Being meek doesn't mean you can't share your thoughts. It means choosing to share them in a way that builds bridges instead of burning them. Maybe it's as simple as sending a kind DM instead of calling someone out publicly. Or think about your everyday life. Maybe you're really good at something. Could be art, gaming, sports, whatever. Meekness means using that talent to help others level up instead of just showing off. Like that new guy at work who's struggling with the software you've mastered. Instead of rolling your eyes, you take a few minutes to show him the shortcuts. At home, it might look like letting your siblings pick the movie sometimes, even though you're not feeling their choice, or listening to your parents' advice without getting defensive, even if you've heard it before. The cool thing about meekness, these small choices add up. Each time you choose to be gentle when you could be harsh, to listen when you could speak, to serve when you could dominate, you're not just following Jesus' teaching. You're actually changing your corner of the world. Remember how Jesus said, the meek will inherit the earth? That might sound strange at first. In a world where pushing ahead and being loud seems to get all the attention, how do the meek end up inheriting anything? But look around. The people who make the deepest impact, who really change lives, aren't usually the loudest or most aggressive. They're the ones who, like Keanu, use their influence wisely. They're the teachers who quietly shape the next generation. The friends who are there when times get tough. The leaders who lift others up instead of tearing them down. That's what inheriting the earth really looks like. It's not about owning everything. It's about having real, lasting influence that makes the world better. You can start right now. This week, try choosing meekness in one small way each day. Watch how it changes things. Watch how it changes you. If this video helped you understand meekness better, hit that like button. And if you want more content about finding real happiness through Jesus' teachings, subscribe to SDG channel. We share real happiness.